Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Fearless Brand Leaders. We all know that a brand is way more than a logo, but can a brand succeed without a logo at all? Fashion retailer Urban Outfitters has, and Steve Hartman, Managing Director of Marketing, is here to tell us how. Thanks for joining us, Steve.
All right, thanks, Sean.
It's been good to first of all get to know you. We're at a conference right now called The Gathering, and the authenticity that you bring has been very refreshing, so thanks for being part of this.
Thanks for having me.
The first question, let's get right to it, is
Yeah.
fashion retail chains are cookie cutter, most of them are, and the customer experience for every store is almost the same. That's the exact opposite for Urban Outfitters. Can you tell me a bit about why that's worked for your brand?
Yeah, it's been something that's been really important for our brand over the years, and it was something. It goes back to the roots of our brand, and it was really in being authentic to each community that we're in, and each where each one of our stores is located. And we thought that the best way to do that was to hire people from the local community and let them be part of it, and let them be part of creating it, and to the point where we have so much autonomy to our stores compared to most of our competitors. Most competitors, every store looks exactly the same. There's a floor set that looks exactly the same. So you go into any one of their stores and you're like, I know exactly where that sweater's going to be. Yeah. Part of the magic of Urban Outfitters is that, well, you don't. And you walk in, you know it's
like
an Urban Outfitters.
Yeah.
It's an Urban Outfitters, but you've got this sense of discovery in every single store that you go into because they're all different. And we have, one of the things I love about what we do is we've got display artists in every one of our stores. So there's a wood shop in the back of our stores, and they're creating all of the elements that are inside of the experience. And they put so much more energy and take so much more ownership of it than you find at any other store. It really brings it to life in a way that I don't think you could do otherwise.
And how do you find those people? So tell me about your HR practices mixing in with marketing and how you attract, because it's the people that make it what it is. Tell me about that.
It is. I mean, and a lot of it's our customer, and they're excited about our brand and they want to be part of it. Actually, one of my favorite stories, I don't think we've ever talked about this, is the one who's now our executive director of creative. She started in our Boston store, I think 18 years ago. And she was turned away 3 times before she was finally hired as an associate in the store. But she was that excited about the brand and that adamant about being part of it. And now she is our creative director, and she's sets the tone for Urban Outfitters.
I love that. Tell me about the logo. So there's all these standards that get in the way of great things that, as a marketer, it frustrates me a lot. Brand guidelines and stuff. I love that you've been decidedly different with that. Can you tell me and the people that are listening in today?
Yeah,
why it happened.
I think the decision to not have a logo goes to, again, celebrating the creativity in the brand. And if we have a logo and everything looks exactly the same, we don't have the ability to express who we are and in a way that's unique and different for each store. And you start boxing yourself into these, well, it's got to be this format and this size. Well, maybe that doesn't work in that location. Whether it's the neighborhood that it's in, whether it's the signage that you can put on the store. So we allow ourselves this creative freedom. And I think that it again gives us takes it to a different level of creativity and authenticity. And one of the things that we've talked about this morning was letting good get in the way of great. And I think when you get to really stringent standards and things like that, that's what you end up doing. By liberating yourself from that, you take on some additional risk, and you're not always going to get it right. But when you do, it's really, really magical.
What was the scariest experience when you walked into a store and said, "This is cool, but it is off-brand"? Where you're like, oh boy. And then how did you deal with it as a leader?
Scariest experience walking into a store. I think there's the ones where they take the directive that you give them and they go a little too far with it, and I say directive, I use the wrong term there, more of the guidance that we're giving them. And they take that and do it almost literally, and you say, well, you've got to, we want to merchandise tank tops at this time because that's what's important, and this is actually an experience. And you walk in and all you see is tank tops on the men's side of the floor. You're like, that's not. We're no, tank tops were important, but you need to mix it in with the other stuff and make it really look great and give it the local personality that how people wear it. And so it is. That's when it gets a little off, and then it's a little bit of coaching, and between myself and our store operations team, give them some coaching, and then you see it kind of come back on track.
So we're in Canada. Well, have you been to some of the stores around here?
Yeah.
What's the feel? I have to ask a Canadian question because we're
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
And then I'm going to ask you about your skiing experience after that. But tell me about the stores in Canada, how they've evolved, and what you like about them.
The stores in Canada are great. Last year we did a trip and we visited a bunch of the stores between Montreal and Toronto primarily. And the enthusiasm that the associates in the store have for the brand was fantastic. And also owning digital, they were the thing that I loved. It was painful, but the thing that I loved was they were so adamant about the fact that we need to have a French-Canadian website. We don't have a French-Canadian website. You need to build this. And we're now doing it. So it's going to be coming out later, I think, in another month.
It's like another country within a country.
Yeah, and it was great for them to say, well, this is really important to us, and this is important to us as a brand, and we need to do this. And for them to have that perspective and be able to express it, and with me as a leader in the company coming in, and them not to be afraid and saying, well, we need to be very careful about this. It was really great. I think that's one of the things that I love about our brand and the passion that people have for it.
My final question, just for those watching, we're actually here today at the gathering, and we're in the beautiful Banff, and you got a chance to go heliskiing. Tell me about that. What was that like?
It was fantastic. It was actually heliboarding. I was a snowboarder. It was awesome. It was really, it's a great experience overall. But one of the things I took away from it, I was thinking about it a little bit last night. And it was the first time I've ever done it for everyone listening. And it was, I waited so long to do this. And I got to why did I wait this long? It's this opportunity that I had. I probably could have done it before, but it's one of those I'll get around to it. Yeah. And I think there's so many things that we do in our personal lives, in our corporate lives, and what we do with our brands, where we say we'll get to that. It might not be important, but just being able to focus your energy on something and be able to go after it, you'll be able to do really, really great things. Yeah. And it was an experience that, like I said, I never have had before, and now I'm going to have a lot more of those. But it was we can really push yourself, and you'll be surprised with what you can do when you spend the time and focus on it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Right,
You're being honored with some amazing brands, and congratulations on being a winner this year. You totally deserve it.
Thanks, we're very flattered.
Yeah, and join us next week for another episode of Fearless Brand Leaders, and until then, be fearless.